Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Gas Giant Vindication and Why Dr. Eugene Shoemaker Was Really Killed. Now, in Article 620 entitled Huge Gas Giant Planets in the Inner Solar System, I showed how the known solar system gas giant planets very neatly follow a relationship between their orbital distance from the Sun and their radius, which is given by this equation, where r is the orbital distance and capital R is the radius of the gas giant. And this means that the orbital radius is proportional to 1 over capital R, which is the radius of the gas giant, to the power of 3 over 2. Now, it's obvious that the other planets in the solar system do not follow this relationship, as both Mercury and Venus are smaller than Earth, and they have to be much larger than Earth if they did. This is because the outside radius of the rocky planets, such as Mercury, Venus, and Earth, and even Pluto, is different from the size of their core. This only works in the case of the gas giants because they have a very thin layer of gas on top of their cores. So their overall radius is approximately the same as their core's radius. And here you see a Planet X system stellar core in the process of becoming a gas giant, as evidenced by its stripes. This is, of course, the Sun. This is an SDO image. And this object cannot have yet finished the re-energizing process because it is very close to the Sun and is also much smaller than the Sun. Only gas giants much larger than the Sun end up orbiting the Sun this close to it, as I showed in Article 620. Where a stellar core 7 times larger than the Sun and ends up orbiting at 0.04 AU from the center of the Sun. The stellar core here has a trail of gaseous plasma behind it. You can see the trail there, indicating that it is absorbing gaseous plasma from the Sun's corona. And here's another one. This is also a Planet X system stellar core photographed by an astronomer and sent to Scottsdale. And also most likely in the process of becoming a gas giant, as its gaseous material seems to be in widely varying colors. In other words, blue on the edge, so it's dark blue and light blue there, and beige and brown on the side facing the camera. And this suggests that it is covering is changing from most likely the cloud envelope it arrived at the Sun with to a new covering which it is absorbing from the Sun, which will give it a striped appearance like that of Jupiter. And you can see that this object is a different color at the edge, but that's somewhat like this one. This one would most likely also be a different color at the edge because that's where the new material is going to. So we would most likely see the edge in a slightly different color, like we do this one here. Now, thus, the overall radius is about the same as the core's radius. That's for the gas giant. So these objects have a very thin layer of gaseous material, which they absorb from the Sun's corona. And therefore, Jupiter also has a very thin layer of gas and is mostly a solid object. This is why the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 impact on Jupiter left such lasting impressions on the planet. The comet pieces did not impact a gaseous object. They impacted a solid object with a very thin layer of gas on top of the solid surface. This is therefore the reason why Dr. Eugene Shoemaker, the planetary scientist, was also the co-discoverer of the comet, was killed. He knew from the impacts that Jupiter was solid almost all the way to the top of the gas clouds. And here's a photograph of the different pieces that made up this comet. Obviously, it broke into pieces. And here you can see images of Jupiter in ultraviolet light after the impacts and showing the large blemishes that were left on Jupiter, which would be impossible unless there was a solid surface right underneath the top of the gaseous layer. Because if this had been a gas giant like mainstream science says gas giants are, then it would have a very small solid core at the center, and it would be made of gas. And then the rocky pieces making up the comet would have gone in very far into this gaseous layer before finding anything to impact. But the fact that they left such huge blemishes shows you that the solid surface is just below the gaseous layer. It's right at the top. Now, my understanding that the gas giants are re-energized Planet X system stellar cores came through observing these objects and then determining how gravity works and how the laws governing the universe work. So it was the developed theory that led to my believing that gas giant planets' orbital distance had to be related to their radii. Thus, to then find that the 4 known gas giants' orbital parameters fall within such a neat mathematical law as indicated by equation 1, which I showed at the top, which is shown here again, which is similar to Kepler's third law in terms of simplicity. And here you have Kepler's third law. It basically says that the orbital period of a planet is proportional to its orbital radius to the power of 3/2. And in the case of our relationship between orbital radius and the radius of the core of these objects. And since they mainly core, it works for the whole object. So R is proportional to 1 over capital R to the power 3/2. So this is a real verification of my theories as well as vindication. The thing is, this data has been around for thousands of years, and astronomers, astrophysicists have had enough understanding of the universe to make use of it for centuries. This relationship clearly tells us that gas giants have to be mainly made of a core that is the same density for all of them, and that they are different from all the other planets in the solar system. Why hasn't anyone figured this out until now? Why are there no published papers on this? Because the physics and astronomy on this planet have been subverted and controlled by the father of lies. And those people who discover the truth and cannot be silent or stopped from spreading the truth to the rest of the community by being ejected from academia were killed, like Dr. Eugene Shoemaker. This also shows how the understanding of what these objects really are, what the Planet X system is something that Lucifer wants to hide from the Earth's human population at all costs. However, Lucifer is not really in control. God is in control, and Lucifer can only do what God allows, which is why the Creator God has seen fit to reveal these truths at the end of this age through me and many other of his faithful children. So in conclusion, the relationship between orbital radius and radius of the gas giant planets is a form of verification for the theory I have come up with through observing Planet X system stellar cores, and vindication in the face of opposition from the father of lies. It also explains why scientists like Dr. Eugene Shoemaker were killed, and in addition shows that the truth about Planet X is something that Lucifer would like to remain hidden at all costs. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.